The evening sun cast long shadows across Olivia Bennett's wheat fields, painting the stalks in hues of gold and amber. As an agricultural engineer who had transformed her family's struggling farm into a model of sustainable innovation, she was used to solving complex problems. But nothing in her years of experience had prepared her for what she was about to discover in the northern field. The first sign that something was amiss came when her soil monitoring system reported an unusual electromagnetic disturbance. Initially, she dismissed it as a glitch. Her experimental smart farming network often needed fine-tuning. But when the readings persisted and intensified, she knew she had to investigate. Grabbing her tablet and diagnostic tools, Olivia headed out in her electric utility vehicle. The wheat swayed gently in the breeze, concealing whatever lay beyond. As she approached the anomaly's coordinates, she noticed a strange shimmer in the air, like heat waves rising from hot asphalt, except this was moving sideways, forming patterns that defied natural explanation. Her vehicle's electronics flickered and died as she got closer, forcing her to continue on foot. The hair on her arms stood on end, and her tablet screen became a mess of static. That's when she saw it, a distortion in space itself, slowly fading to reveal something that shouldn't exist. It was a spacecraft, but unlike anything from Earth's space programs. About the size of a small house, its sleek form seemed to absorb and reflect light in impossible ways. The vessel lay at an angle, having carved a subtle furrow through her wheat field, so subtle that it would have been invisible from satellite imaging. Some kind of advanced technology had clearly minimized the impact of its landing, or crash. Olivia's scientific mind raced with possibilities as she approached cautiously. The craft's surface had an organic quality, like liquid metal frozen in mid-flow. No visible seams, no conventional propulsion systems, no recognizable markings. Her fingers tingled with an almost irresistible urge to touch it, to understand its secrets. A sound drew her attention, a rhythmic tapping from somewhere near the craft's midsection. As she watched, a section of the hull simply dissolved, revealing an opening. Steam or some kind of gas hissed out, and a figure emerged. The alien stood nearly 7 feet tall, its form humanoid but clearly not human. Its body seemed to be covered in what looked like a form-fitting suit that shifted colors like oil on water. But what caught Olivia's attention was the way it moved, deliberate, precise, almost mechanical. In its 6-fingered hands, it held what appeared to be tools, though their purpose was impossible to guess. Their eyes met, or at least, Olivia found herself staring into what she assumed were sensory organs, geometric patterns of iridescent light that somehow conveyed intelligence and awareness. The alien made a series of musical tones that seemed to vibrate through her chest, and then, to her astonishment, spoke in accented but clear English. This landing was unplanned. I am Caden Reck, engineering specialist of the Archesian Science Fleet. The alien's voice had an unusual resonance, as if multiple tones were speaking in perfect harmony. My ship's gravitational drive has sustained damage. I require assistance. Olivia found herself responding before she could even process the incredibility of the situation. I'm Olivia Bennett. I'm an engineer too, agricultural engineering, but I know my way around complex systems. She gestured at her farm's advanced monitoring equipment visible in the distance. Maybe I can help. The alien's color-shifting suit rippled in what might have been surprise or interest. You maintain these cultivation fields? Caden Reck asked, making a gesture that encompassed the wheat fields and the various pieces of smart farming technology dotting the landscape. I designed most of the systems myself, Olivia explained, her initial fear giving way to professional curiosity. Automated irrigation, soil composition monitoring, pest control through sound waves instead of chemicals. It's all integrated into a single network. Impressive adaptation of limited resources, Caden Reck observed, and Olivia detected what seemed like genuine admiration in those harmonious tones. Perhaps we can assist each other. My ship's systems are unlike anything you know, but engineering principles often transcend technological gaps. As the sun continued to set, casting ever longer shadows across her wheat field, Olivia made a decision that would change not just her life, but potentially the course of human history. Let's take a look at your ship's damage. Between your advanced technology and my practical experience, we should be able to figure something out. The alien engineer moved with surprising grace despite their size, gesturing for Olivia to follow. A warning, Caden Rex said, pausing at the ship's entrance. What you are about to see represents technology thousands of years beyond your current level. Are you prepared for that knowledge? Olivia smiled, her heart racing with excitement and anticipation. I've spent my life finding ways to make things work better with whatever resources are available. Show me what you've got, and let's solve this problem together. As she stepped into the alien vessel, the interior lighting responding to their presence with a soft, ambient glow, Olivia knew she was walking into something far bigger than a simple repair job. This was first contact, happening not in some government facility or military base, but on a farm in the middle of nowhere, between two engineers who shared the universal language of problem-solving. The ship's interior was a marvel of organic technology, with surfaces that seemed alive and responsive to touch. Holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing diagrams and data streams that made Olivia's most advanced farming computers look like children's toys. Yet beneath the alienness of it all, she could see patterns and systems that followed logical principles. Different implementation, same underlying concepts. The gravitational drive matrix suffered a quantum misalignment during my research mission, Caden Rex explained, bringing up a three-dimensional display that showed the damaged system. A simple repair for my people, but without access to our network. Sometimes the simplest solutions come from working with limitations, Olivia offered, already studying the holographic diagram with intense interest. Show me how it's supposed to work, and maybe we can find a way to adapt what I have here on the farm. As night fell over the wheat fields, two engineers from vastly different worlds began to work together, proving that innovation and determination could bridge even the gaps between the stars. Dawn broke over the farm, painting the sky in shades of lavender and gold. Olivia hadn't slept, too engrossed in the technological marvels within Caden Rex's ship. The alien engineer had spent the night teaching her the basics of their quantum-based systems, while she shared her knowledge of Earth's resourceful engineering solutions. Your species adapts remarkably well to technological limitations, Caden Rex observed, their color-shifting suit rippling with what Olivia had begun to recognize as excitement. They stood before a holographic display showing the integration of Olivia's farm equipment with the ship's damaged systems. This solution would never have occurred to me, using your soil monitoring network to create a makeshift quantum field stabilizer. Olivia smiled, running her hands through her disheveled dark hair. Sometimes the best innovations come from working with what you have. Your gravitational drive needs a specific quantum frequency to realign itself, and my monitoring system already uses electromagnetic pulses to analyze soil composition. It's just a matter of modifying the frequency. The alien engineer moved closer to study her calculations, their tall form casting a shadow over the holographic display. There is an elegance to your approach. My people often overlook simpler solutions, relying too heavily on our advanced technology. As they worked, Olivia found herself increasingly fascinated by Caden Rex's way of thinking. The aliens' mathematical understanding was far beyond human comprehension, yet they struggled with improvisational problem-solving, something that came naturally to humans who had to make do with limited resources. Tell me about your world, Olivia said as she reconfigured her farm's central computer to interface with the alien technology. What made you become an engineer? Caden Rex's sensory organs shifted patterns, creating a mesmerizing display of geometric light. My civilization has spread across many star systems. We build vast mechanical spheres around stars to harness their energy. Yet I always questioned if bigger was necessarily better. They paused, making an adjustment to the quantum field calculations. I chose to study primitive, forgive me, developing, civilizations, believing that constraint breeds innovation. No offense taken, Olivia chuckled. We are pretty primitive compared to your people. But we're learning fast. She gestured to her farm's advanced systems. 20 years ago, this kind of automated farming was science fiction. Now it's helping to feed millions. Their conversation was interrupted by a warning signal from the ship's systems. The holographic display flickered, showing a critical misalignment in the quantum field. Olivia's modified soil sensors were detecting something unexpected. The gravitational distortion is spreading, Cadenrec announced, their harmonious voice carrying a note of concern. Your planet's magnetic field is more sensitive to quantum fluctuations than I anticipated. If we don't stabilize it soon, the consequences could be devastating, Olivia finished, quickly understanding the implications. We need to think bigger. My farm's network alone isn't enough. She pulled up a map of the surrounding area on her tablet. But there are other farms nearby with similar systems. If we could link them together. Cadenrec's suit rippled with interest. A distributed quantum field stabilizer. Using multiple primitive systems to simulate one advanced system. Fascinating. But we would need to coordinate with these other farms without revealing my presence. Olivia was already formulating a plan. I've been trying to convince my neighbors to join a cooperative farming network for months. This might be the perfect excuse. She looked up at her alien companion with a grin. How do you feel about posing as a visiting agricultural consultant? The alien engineer's sensory organs flickered in what might have been amusement. I lack detailed knowledge of Earth agriculture. However, my suit can project a human appearance for short periods. Over the next few hours, they worked out the details of their plan. Cadenrec's suit could indeed generate a convincing holographic disguise, though maintaining it drained considerable energy. They chose the appearance of a tall, distinguished-looking man in his 40s, with silver-streaked hair and scholarly glasses, a look that would command respect without drawing too much attention. Olivia made calls to her neighboring farms, presenting an opportunity to test a new integrated farming network. Her reputation for innovation helped convince them, and soon they had 5 farms ready to connect their systems. As they drove from farm to farm in Olivia's electric utility vehicle, she found herself stealing glances at Cadenrec's human disguise. It was strange seeing the alien engineer in human form, though their precise movements and formal way of speaking remained the same. Your species has an interesting approach to cooperation, Cadenrec observed as they left the 4th farm. Each individual must be convinced separately, yet once committed, they trust each other implicitly. We're complicated like that, Olivia agreed. Individualistic but community-minded when it counts. Speaking of which, you never told me why you were studying Earth specifically. The holographic disguise flickered slightly as Cadenrec considered the question. Your planet was not my intended destination. However, now that I am here. They paused, seeming to choose their words carefully. Your civilization is at a crucial point in its development. The solutions you devise now will determine your species' future trajectory. Something in their tone made Olivia look sharply at her companion. You're not just talking about farming technology, are you? No, Cadenrec admitted. My people have observed many civilizations at this stage of development. Most destroy themselves before reaching the stars. But humans, you have a unique capacity for innovation under pressure. It is why I chose to reveal myself rather than waiting for rescue. As they approached the last farm, the sun high overhead, Olivia processed this information. So this is more than just repairing your ship. You're testing us. Perhaps we are testing each other, Cadenrec responded. My people believe in non-interference with developing civilizations. Yet here I am, sharing advanced technology with you. Because something in your approach to problems, your willingness to adapt and improvise, suggests that humanity might be ready for more than we initially thought. The implications of this statement hung between them as they began setting up the final connection for their distributed quantum field stabilizer. The future of human-alien relations might well depend on how they handled this crisis together. As evening approached, they returned to Olivia's farm to monitor the integrated system. The holographic displays showed the quantum field beginning to stabilize as the combined power of the farming networks created a wide-area containment field. "It's working," Olivia breathed, watching the numbers align. "The gravitational distortion is being contained." "Yes," Cadenrec agreed, their holographic disguise dissolving as they entered the privacy of the ship. "But we are not finished. The containment is temporary. To fully repair the drive, we need something more, something that only your planet can provide." Olivia looked up from the displays, sensing the weight in her companion's words. "What do you need?" "There is a rare mineral, formed only under specific conditions involving planetary magnetic fields. Your people call it magnetite. But we need it in its purest form, found only in certain deep mines." Cadenrec's sensory organs pulsed with urgency. "And we are not the only ones who know of its value to advanced technology." The implications slowly dawned on Olivia. "Are you saying there are other aliens interested in Earth's resources?" "Yes," Cadenrec confirmed. "And not all of them share my people's philosophy of non-interference. We must obtain this mineral and repair my ship quickly, or your world may face unwanted attention before it is ready." Olivia sat back, her mind racing with possibilities and dangers. What had started as a chance encounter was rapidly evolving into something far more significant. The fate of two civilizations might well rest on their ability to work together, combining human resourcefulness with alien technology to prevent a crisis neither world was ready to face. The normally peaceful night was shattered by the urgent beeping of Cadenrec's ship sensors. Olivia, who had been dozing in a makeshift workstation she'd set up inside the vessel, jerked awake. The holographic displays pulsed with warning signals, showing multiple anomalies in Earth's upper atmosphere. "They're here earlier than anticipated," Cadenrec announced, their forms shifting anxiously as they manipulated the control interfaces. "The Syndicate scout ships. They're searching for unusual quantum signatures." Olivia moved to join them at the main console, her eyes quickly scanning the data streams. Over the past few days, she'd learned enough about the alien technology to grasp the basics. "Like the signature from your damaged drive?" "Precisely. The quantum disturbance we've contained with your farming network is still detectable from orbit." The alien engineer's voice carried harmonics of worry. "The Syndicate specializes in exploiting developing worlds for resources. They mask their operations as natural disasters or industrial accidents." Running her hands through her hair in frustration, Olivia paced the organic-looking interior of the ship. "The magnetite deposit you need, I've identified a mine in the Montana mountains that might have what we're looking for. But it's an active mining operation. We can't just walk in." Cadenrec's sensory organs pulsed with what Olivia had come to recognize as determination. "We don't have a choice. The Syndicate's presence changes everything. If they detect the unique properties of Earth's magnetite deposits, they might decide to take them by force," Olivia finished. She'd spent enough time with Cadenrec to understand the implications. "But wouldn't their interference attract the attention of your people? The Syndicate operates in gray areas of galactic law. By the time sufficient evidence was gathered, irreparable damage would be done to your world's development." The alien engineer brought up a new display, showing a detailed scan of Earth's mineral deposits. "Your planet is unique in this sector, the specific conditions that created these magnetite formations occur rarely." Olivia studied the geological data, her mind already working on solutions. "I have a friend from college, Daniel Reeves, who works as a geologist at the mine. He's unconventional. Might be open to helping us without asking too many questions." She glanced at her alien companion. "How long can you maintain that human holographic disguise? With the ship's current power limitations?" "No more than 6 hours at a time." Cadenrec manipulated the controls, bringing up a map of the mining facility. "But we must also consider that the Syndicate will likely send ground agents. They're experts at infiltration." The implications sent a chill down Olivia's spine. How will we recognize them? They use biomechanical enhancements that allow them to perfectly mimic human appearance and behavior. However, Cadenrek's form shifted, producing a small device that looked like a crystal pendant. This will detect their quantum signature at close range. Wear it. As Olivia slipped the pendant around her neck, a plan began forming in her mind. The mine has a new automated extraction system. Daniel's been complaining about bugs in the software. We could use that as our cover. You'll pose as a systems specialist I brought in to help. A reasonable approach, Cadenrek agreed. But we must work quickly. The Syndicate scouts will soon isolate this region as the source of the quantum disturbance. They spent the next few hours preparing. Olivia made calls to Daniel, crafting a convincing story about a consulting job. Meanwhile, Cadenrek modified some of their tools to appear as Earth technology, knowing they'd need them to identify the precise type of magnetite required. As dawn approached, they loaded the disguised equipment into Olivia's vehicle. Cadenrek activated their human holographic form, the same distinguished-looking man they'd used during their visits to the neighboring farms. The drive to the mine was tense with anticipation. Olivia couldn't help noticing how Cadenrek kept checking a device that monitored atmospheric conditions. More scouts arriving. Yes. They're being cautious, staying high in orbit to avoid detection by your planetary defense systems. But they're establishing a search pattern. The disguised alien engineer gestured to the crystal pendant around Olivia's neck. Remember, if that grows warm, it means a syndicate agent is nearby. The mining facility came into view as they rounded a mountain bend, a sprawling complex of industrial buildings and equipment nestled against the rugged landscape. Daniel was waiting for them at the security checkpoint, his weathered face breaking into a smile as he recognized Olivia. "Been too long, Liv," he called out, then extended his hand to Cadenrek. "And you must be the systems expert." "Daniel Reeves." "Dr. Carl Reiner," Cadenrek responded smoothly, having practiced the human name. Their handshake was perfect, they'd spent hours studying human social interactions. "Thank you for accommodating us on such short notice." As Daniel led them through the facility, explaining the issues with the automated extraction system, Olivia felt the crystal pendant grow slightly warm. She caught Cadenrek's subtle nod, they weren't alone. Somewhere in the facility, at least one syndicate agent was already in position. "The main problem's in the deep shaft control room," Daniel was saying. "The targeting system keeps misaligning. We've had to shut down operations in the lower levels." "Perfect," Olivia said, perhaps too quickly. "We should start there." They descended in an industrial elevator, the pendant growing warmer with each floor. When they reached the bottom, they found another specialist already examining the control systems, a woman in a corporate suit who introduced herself as Regina Walsh from the equipment manufacturer. Olivia's pendant was now uncomfortably hot against her skin. One look at Cadenrek confirmed it, they were face to face with a syndicate agent. The question was, did she know what they were really there for, or was she simply investigating the quantum signature like the scouts above? "I wasn't informed about additional consultants," Regina said smoothly, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. "Last-minute arrangement," Daniel explained cheerfully, unaware of the tension. "Given the system's critical state, we thought more minds might help." Olivia watched the subtle interplay of expressions between Cadenrek and the syndicate agent, two aliens in human disguise, each trying to determine what the other knew. The fate of her planet might depend on what happened in the next few moments. The mining facility's deep shaft control room had become a cosmic chessboard, with pieces moving into position for a game whose rules and stakes were beyond human comprehension. Yet Olivia knew one thing with certainty, they couldn't let the syndicate realize the true value of Earth's magnetite deposits. Whatever happened next would require all of her human ingenuity and Cadenrek's advanced knowledge, working in perfect harmony to outmaneuver an enemy who could destroy everything under the guise of simple industrial espionage. The deep shaft control room hummed with tension as Olivia pretended to examine the mining system's diagnostics. Regina Walsh, the syndicate agent, hadn't taken her eyes off them since their arrival. Every move had to be precise, natural, and above all, human. The targeting system's misalignment, Cadenrec said in their practiced Dr. Reiner voice, appears to be caused by magnetic interference. They pulled out one of their disguised alien tools, carefully designed to look like Earth technology. We should run a deep scan of the surrounding rock composition. Regina stepped forward, her movements too fluid to be entirely human. I've already completed preliminary scans. Perhaps we should compare readings. The suggestion carried a subtle challenge. Excellent idea, Olivia interjected, sensing the dangerous game of cat and mouse. Daniel, could you show me the maintenance logs? Might help us narrow down when the problem started. Daniel nodded, leading her to a separate console. This gave Cadenrec space to engage with Regina directly, two cosmic powers circling each other in human form. Olivia kept one ear on their conversation while she worked, the crystal pendant burning against her skin. Your scanning equipment is quite advanced, Regina observed, studying Cadenrec's tools. Custom-made? Prototype technology, they responded smoothly. Still in development. Olivia pulled up the maintenance logs, and something caught her eye. The system malfunctions had started exactly when Cadenrec's ship had crashed. The quantum disturbance had affected the mine's equipment too. She quickly began correlating data, an idea forming. Dr. Reiner, she called out, using Cadenrec's human alias. Look at this pattern in the error logs. It matches the electromagnetic anomalies we detected at the farm. Cadenrec moved to her console, immediately understanding her strategy. They weren't just looking for magnetite anymore. They were using the mine's own systems to mask their true purpose. Fascinating, they said, maintaining their cover. The agricultural interference must be more widespread than we thought. Ms. Walsh, your company's equipment seems particularly sensitive to these disturbances. Have you noticed similar patterns at other sites? It was a clever trap, forcing Regina to either reveal too much knowledge about the quantum disturbances or limit her ability to investigate them. The syndicate agent's eyes narrowed almost imperceptibly. Not exactly, she said carefully. But I'd be very interested in comparing data from your agricultural sites. Before anyone could respond, the entire facility shuddered. Warning lights flashed as the deep shaft stabilization systems went haywire. Daniel rushed to the main control panel. This is impossible, he muttered, fingers flying over the controls. All the magnetic field sensors are showing massive spikes. The whole shaft could collapse. Olivia's pendant was now practically searing her skin. She looked up to see Regina speaking quietly into what appeared to be a normal phone. The syndicate was making their move, using the mine's systems to conduct their own scan for the precious magnetite deposits. We need to stabilize the magnetic fields, Olivia announced, her mind racing. Dr. Reiner, could we adapt the interference suppression system we developed for the farms? Cadenrec caught on immediately. Yes, but we'll need access to the main power distribution network. That's not standard procedure, Regina cut in sharply. As the manufacturer's representative, I must insist. The facility shook again, more violently this time. Daniel was too busy trying to prevent a catastrophe to question anything. Do whatever you need to do. We're losing containment. Olivia and Cadenrec sprang into action, their weeks of working together paying off as they moved in perfect synchronization. They began rerouting power and reprogramming systems, using the mine's own infrastructure to create a quantum containment field similar to what they'd built with the farming network. Regina moved to stop them, but another violent shake of the facility sent her stumbling. Emergency sirens blared as Daniel ordered an evacuation of the lower levels. In the chaos, Olivia spotted something that made her blood run cold. Regina's human disguise flickered momentarily, revealing a glimpse of her true syndicate form. The magnetite deposits, Cadenrec said urgently as they worked. They're in resonance with the syndicate's scanning beams. If we don't contain the reaction, The whole mine will collapse, Olivia finished. She pulled up the facility's geologic surveys, quickly identifying the richest magnetite veins. We need to focus the containment field here, here, and here. Create a resonance-dampening triangle. As they implemented their solution, Regina made one last attempt to interfere. You have no idea what you're dealing with, she warned, her voice taking on an inhuman harmonic quality that only Olivia and Cadenrec could recognize. This planet's resources are too valuable to be left in human hands. That's where you're wrong, Olivia responded, not looking up from her work. Earth's greatest resource isn't in its minerals. She met Cadenrec's eyes, even through their human disguise, she could see their understanding. It's in its people's ability to adapt, to innovate, to solve problems in ways no one else would think of. The containment field sprang to life, creating a network of electromagnetic forces that neutralized the syndicate's scanning beams. The facility's shaking subsided, and the warning sirens fell silent. In the sudden quiet, Regina received another message on her device, her expression darkening. "This isn't over," she said quietly, then turned and walked out, presumably to report her failure to her superiors. Daniel let out a relieved breath. "I don't know how you did it, but you just saved us from a major catastrophe." He began checking systems, shaking his head in amazement. "I've never seen anything like this solution. The magnetic fields are more stable than they've ever been." Olivia and Cadenrec exchanged glances. In the process of stopping the syndicate, they'd actually improved the mine's systems. More importantly, they'd discovered exactly where the purest magnetite deposits were located, and confirmed that the syndicate knew about them too. "We need to move quickly," Cadenrec said once they were alone. "The syndicate will change tactics now. They'll realize we're not just random consultants." Olivia nodded, her mind already working on their next move. "How much magnetite do you need for your ship?" "A few kilograms of the purest form. Now that we know its exact location." They brought up the scan results they'd managed to take during the crisis. "But extracting it without attracting attention." "Leave that to me," Olivia said, a plan already forming. "We humans have been finding creative ways to get things done since long before we had advanced technology. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways." As they left the mine, both knew they were running out of time. The syndicate's failed attempt would only make them more determined. But they'd learned something crucial: when human ingenuity combined with advanced alien technology, they could overcome seemingly impossible odds. They would need that combination more than ever for what was coming next. Starlight glinted off the crystalline formations deep in the abandoned section of the mine. Olivia led the way through the narrow tunnel, her headlamp illuminating the rough-hewn walls while Cadenrec followed, no longer bothering with their human disguise. They had less than an hour before the syndicate would detect their presence. "My grandfather used to tell me stories about these old tunnels," Olivia whispered, checking her hand-drawn map. "The original miners found veins of strange minerals they couldn't identify. Rather than report them, they kept detailed private maps, thinking they might be valuable someday." "Your ancestors' foresight may save your planet," Cadenrec responded, their forms shifting colors in the darkness. Their sensor device pulsed stronger as they approached a crystalline outcropping. "This is it. The purest form of magnetite I've ever encountered." While Cadenrec carefully extracted the precious mineral, Olivia kept watch. Her crystal pendant remained cool against her skin, but she knew their safety was temporary. The syndicate's ships were still in orbit, and after their confrontation with Regina, they'd be expecting some kind of countermove. "There's something I need to tell you," Cadenrec said as they worked. "About why I really came to Earth." Their sensory organs pulsed with what Olivia had learned to recognize as nervous energy. It wasn't an accident. Olivia turned to face them, her headlamp casting strange shadows through the crystal formations. "What do you mean?" "My people have been debating whether to make official contact with Earth. The syndicate's interest in your planet forced our hand. I was sent to." They paused, selecting their words carefully. To evaluate humanity's potential. To see if you were ready for the knowledge we could share. And the damaged ship? The crash landing in my field? The damage was real, but the location was chosen. Your farm's innovative systems had caught our attention. We needed to see how humans would react to our technology, whether you could adapt and work with concepts far beyond your current development. Olivia absorbed this information, emotions warring inside her. So everything, our work together, the problems we solved, was a test, yes. But what happened between us? Cadenrek's form rippled with colors Olivia had never seen before. That was not part of the evaluation. That was unexpected. Before Olivia could respond, her pendant suddenly grew warm. At the same moment, Cadenrek's sensors detected multiple approaching signatures. The syndicate had found them. We need to move. Now. Olivia's hurt feelings would have to wait. She pulled out her tablet, showing the tunnel system's layout. There's another exit through the old ventilation shafts. If we can reach it. The ground shook as something heavy impacted the surface above. Dust and small rocks rained down from the ceiling. The syndicate was done with subtle approaches. They're attempting to force us out, Cadenrek said, securing the extracted magnetite. But they don't know these tunnels like you do. Olivia led them deeper into the maze of abandoned mines, her grandfather's maps proving invaluable. Behind them, they could hear the sound of pursuit, multiple sets of footsteps echoing off the stone walls. Her pendant grew steadily warmer as the syndicate agents closed in. They reached a junction where the tunnel split into 3 paths. Olivia smiled. Perfect. Time to use some old mining tricks. From her backpack, she pulled out several small devices. These are sonic resonators, part of my farm's pest control system. Underground, they should create quite a distraction. Understanding dawned in Cadenrek's geometric patterns. The same principle as our quantum field stabilizer, but inverted. The vibrations will mask our quantum signature. They quickly placed the devices, setting them to activate on a delay. As they took the rightmost tunnel, the resonators began their work. The sound waves, harmless but disorienting, would bounce off the crystal formations, creating a chaotic maze of false signatures. Their path led upward, through increasingly narrow passages. Cadenrek had to adjust their forms several times to fit through the tighter spaces. Finally, they emerged into the cool night air through a hidden opening in the hillside, exactly where Olivia's grandfather's map had indicated. But their relief was short-lived. Above them, the night sky rippled as a syndicate ship decloaked. Its sleek, predatory form descended toward them, cutting off their escape route. Your interference ends here, Regina's voice boomed from the ship. The magnetite deposits will be harvested, regardless of the cost to this primitive world. Cadenrek stepped forward, their form expanding to its full height. You underestimate them. Humanity's greatest strength isn't in their resources, it's in their potential. A potential that will be wasted, another voice cut in as more syndicate agents emerged from the shadows. They'll destroy themselves long before reaching the stars. We're simply accelerating the inevitable. Olivia had heard enough. While the aliens focused on their confrontation, she'd been busy with her tablet, accessing her farm's network. Over the past weeks, she and Cadenrek had done more than just contain the quantum disturbance, they'd created something entirely new. You're wrong about us, she said, her fingers flying over the controls. Humans don't just adapt to technology, we transform it. We find connections that no one else sees. With a final command, she activated the entire network, not just her farm's systems, but all the connected farms in the region, the mine's enhanced equipment, and the quantum field stabilizer they'd built. But this time, instead of containing energy, they were channeling it. The effect was immediate and stunning. The combined systems created a massive quantum feedback loop, amplifying the natural magnetic fields of the Earth itself. The syndicate ship's systems went haywire, its cloaking technology failing completely. Cadenrec wasted no time. They produced a small device and transmitted a signal into space. Your violation of galactic law has been recorded and broadcast. My people will be here within hours. The syndicate agents retreated to their ship, which struggled against the magnetic interference before finally breaking free and disappearing into the night sky. The immediate danger had passed, but Olivia knew this was just the beginning. Your people will come now, she asked Cadenrec. Make official contact. Yes. Their form shifted, displaying colors that seemed to express both joy and sadness. What you did tonight, combining our quantum technology with your farming networks to create a planetary defense system, it proved beyond any doubt that humanity is ready. But you have to leave. Olivia completed the thought, her heart heavy with understanding. Not necessarily. Cadenrec moved closer, their colors swirling in complex patterns. My mission was to evaluate Earth's potential. I could argue that continuing to study human innovation, particularly your innovations, would be valuable to my people. Olivia's breath caught as she understood what they were suggesting. You want to stay? As an official cultural and technological exchange representative, they said, their harmonious voice carrying notes of hope. There is still much we could learn from each other. And much I would like to learn from you. Dawn was breaking over the mountains, painting the sky in brilliant colors. Below them, Olivia's farm was visible in the distance, its advanced systems now integrated with alien technology in ways neither of their species had imagined possible. It was a perfect symbol of what they could accomplish together. Well, Olivia said, reaching out to take Cadenrec's alien hand in hers, marveling at how natural it felt despite their differences. My farm could use a full-time engineering consultant. Especially one who can help me explain all the upgrades we've made to the equipment. As the sun rose on a new day, they stood together on the mountainside, human and alien united by their shared love of innovation and problem-solving. Above them, the stars were still visible in the morning sky, no longer distant and unreachable, but a promise of adventures yet to come. The arrival of Cadenrec's people would change Earth forever, but the change would come gradually, guided by those who understood both worlds. Sometimes the most profound innovations came not from advanced technology, but from the simple decision to reach across the vast distances between stars and species, to share knowledge, solve problems, and perhaps even fall in love. So, Olivia asked as they made their way back to her farm, want to help me design some new improvements for the irrigation system? Cadenrec's form sparkled with amusement and affection. I thought you'd never ask. In the growing light of dawn, they walked together toward their shared future, proving that the greatest discoveries often come not from the stars above, but from the connections we forge with those who help us see the world in entirely new ways.